Triggers has become a word that seems to be more commonly used in our language and conversations. The same as we hear, "That's going to give me PTSD" often these days. It's important to remember that we all have triggers, even positive ones. Think about going into someone's home and they're cooking something with cinnamon, and you are immediately taken back to your childhood home and the cinnamon buns your parent used to make. What we're talking about and how the word trigger is used in relation to trauma isn't about those positive experiences we have in our lives, but rather anything that might provoke thoughts or memories of a negative experience or a physical reaction such as nausea. Sometimes triggers are very small, seemingly innocuous things that are hard to identify, and many of the folks we support need our help in identifying what might be a trigger for them. Knowing something is a trigger for someone doesn't mean it won't have an effect on someone and cause dysregulation. But it does help us understand where it's come from, and if we know about a trigger in advance, we can help to avoid it, remove it, or mitigate it. Identifying triggers can help us to support folks in many ways, which we'll address in the next pages of this chapter. Identifying and knowing what someone's trigger might be does not mean that they're obligated to tell us and explain why something is a trigger. They might not know. It may just be something that happens that they respond to with their survival brain and body without even knowing what's happening. I gave that example of cinnamon being a pleasant trigger or memory, but perhaps the smell of Old Spice reminds you of your abuser, and you feel so nauseous that you have to leave the place where you got a whiff of it. Perhaps driving by the place where you were in a horrible car accident causes you to have flashbacks in which you can hear the crunch of metal on metal, smell the smoke, and you feel pain in your long-heeled leg that you broke in that accident. All of those are triggers. You may be able to avoid the intersection where you had that accident, but you don't have control over someone wearing Old Spice in the mall. Triggers and the symptoms that they cause, or trigger, including extreme dysregulation, can sometimes be avoided. But when they can't, folks need to be able to acknowledge them and have some tools to help them regulate. We also need to be thoughtful and careful to not expose folks to their triggers, either intentionally or unintentionally. When I say intentionally, I don't believe that folks expose others to their triggers to cause harm. But it's not uncommon for IDD folks to be exposed to their triggers because supporters and staff don't believe that their triggers are real or that they aren't really harmful for folks. Please don't fall into this trap. When we ignore or dismiss triggers, some of which are more easily identified than others, we ignore the traumatic stress response we have to them, and we don't find ways to heal from that trauma. So please look for those triggers in your everyday life. Thank you.